So, what happened to Among Us? You know, it's been a while since I've ever heard of this game. I'm pretty sure everybody remembers the entire frenzy that this game caused and how popular it became. The countless memes, the jokes, everything about it. But what happened? You know, I haven't seen this much popularity in a game since Fortnite. Like, back in 2020, it was almost hard to go a day without hearing about Among Us. No matter where you went, from Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Among Us was just like kind of everywhere. And it was a big trend during the time. Now, Among Us had a simple concept to it that definitely made it appealing to a lot of people. Like, the murder mystery aesthetic, accompanied by the colorful sci-fi, definitely gave it its own feel and made it stand out against other horror-related mystery games. From June all the way to September of 2020, the game has managed to hit 41.1 million downloads. That's as much as Subway Surfer made throughout its first year of release. As you can probably expect, Among Us was everywhere. You had stores fill up with Among Us plushies, and YouTube channels was literally starting off their own career with the success of Among Us. I'm pretty sure a lot of people really have fun memories playing this game. I mean, I remember the many times where I really got so upset at the point where I wasn't selected as the imposter, but you know, at this point, Among Us was very big. But then the decline happened. You see, at around early 2021, Among Us began to experience a sharp decline in popularity, and a lot of that could stem for a lot of reasons. One of the big reasons is pretty obvious. It was only inevitable that Among Us was going to fall off pretty quickly, you know, especially considering the amount of popularity and hype and stuff that was all behind this game. It was just like many things that came before Among Us. Once something reaches a sheer amount of popularity, eventually, the quicker the decline is soon to come, and this was the unfortunate case with Among Us. Another reason why I also see why the game could have also fell off was also because of the timing that the game gained attention. Mind you, this game became popular in 2020, a time where no one could really do anything and had to stay home because of the virus. And this didn't really excuse game developers. They also had to follow these rules and go into quarantine. This, of course, caused a lot of things to be done from home, which can cause some problems in and of itself. This caused games to be delayed, pushed back, or just slated for future release dates until everything was actually able to get back to normal. Some games were just even outright canceled. But we did manage to get some few games, such as a couple of AAA release titles as well as some indie titles. But overall, it just wasn't really enough content during this time. So this caused a lot of gamers to turn to other means, and streamers started to find their way to, Among Us. That's where the popularity really began, and it was just really a whole, this ain't really nothing to do, so let me try out this game, and I actually like this game. That's kind of how it all went, or if you want to see it that way. Another reason why I may think the game also fell off is because how oversaturated and just how really repetitive the Among Us community was. Don't get me wrong, the memes and stuff can be funny from time to time here and there, but then again, it gets kind of sickening after a while. There's just only a few amount of times you can take the Reddit sus meme. Believe me, I've seen it all, and trust me, I'm quite frankly sick of it. Like, even the game in of itself is pretty boring. Trust me, there's only a few amount of times that I could play this game before eventually just jumping off, playing something else, and even at one point forgetting that this game was even still on my Xbox. I literally just discovered I had it until now, like, for real. But then again, I'm gonna be honest, I really do have some fond memories of playing this game. I remember playing with my friends one time and we recorded a video, and honestly, this was just kind of the most fun we had since we played GTA 5 years ago when we were young, before we even hit high school, and it was just some good times. But then I really just got bored of it after a while, and it just didn't really hit the same with me anymore. Maybe I'm just speaking from personal experience. In October of 2020, a game by the name of Friday Night Funkin' will be released and then once again take the world by storm. This game is often credited to revive interest into a very old website by the name of Newgrounds, which only the OGs will remember this. I have some very fond memories of this website, and it's kind of where I created my very first games. When this game was released, it kind of overshadowed Among Us, and it took a while for Friday Night Funkin' to gain some attention, but when it did back in early 2021, and this was ironically right around Among Us' steep downfall in popularity. Now, this game definitely had a feel to it, and it also had a very dedicated modded community. This helped the game stand out, even 2 years later, still being talked about to this day. Also, a lot of game companies and developers started to get back together, and video games was starting to be pumped out a lot more, back to its normal standards than what it was last year. So a lot of people started to get that option again to play that favorite game that they've been wanting to play. I mean, even though half of the games that kept getting pumped out were utterly shit, it was still good to have the option again. In December of 2021, Among Us finally made its console releases, being released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and I also think the Switch as well, I'm not 100% sure. This was later followed up with an Xbox edition console of Among Us, but by this point, Among Us was kind of already in its downfall stage, and Squid Games was becoming the new norm. Well, that was pretty much it for today's video. That was the Among Us story. Once a game that was so popular, up there with the likes of Five Nights at Freddy's, eventually fell off because of course, people just not having an interest in it no more. I do want to apologize for not uploading a video in months. I have been busy, I have been working while also trying to make 4 videos at the same time, which is pretty stressful. But then again, I do have future videos planned out, and I know this probably wasn't your typical analysis video that y'all were probably expecting, but don't worry, my next video will be an analysis video. So I do want to say thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, support goes a long way, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay safe.